Hello everyone, my name is Murutura Enoch and we are going to revise together biology, the paper that was written by the external candidate, that is GC in 2016. So the question reads, figure 4.0 shows fitting relationship of organism in an ecosystem. So this question is coming from the topic called ecology. So under ecology there are two renounced fitting relationship, that is the food chain and the food web. But this one which you are seeing there is called the food web, which is formed by the food chain. So one thing that you should bear in mind is that always in an ecosystem, the source of energy or the primary source of energy is from the sun, which contains solar energy, which is trapped by the green leaves of the plants, and it is converted to what? Chemical energy, which is passed on to another organism from one trophic level to another. So from there always producers, they are green plants. So the grass there is called the producer, but organism feeding on the producers, we refer them to be the primary consumers, and then another organism feeding on the primary consumers, they are called secondary consumers, and then also another organism feeding on the secondary consumers, they are called the tertiary consumers. So from there we can start now answering, where they are saying which of the named organism is a represents number one, producer. So like I said to say, producers, they are always green plants. So producers, they are always what? Green plants. And then organisms that feed on the producers, they are called primary consumer. So looking at the question, so A, that is just grass. So that is grass. That is our answer. So now question 2, they are talking about what? Primary consumer. So like I said to say, any organism feeding on the producer, they are called the primary consumer. So grasshopper or mice can be one of your answer. You just choose one. So I'll choose the grasshopper. Grasshopper. So if you want, you can put mice. Just choose one. So we proceed, we move on to the second question, where they are saying what is the primary source of energy in figure 4.0 above. So the primary source, like I said, in any ecosystem is just the sun. So B, that is sun. We proceed, and then they are saying we state the form of energy flow from one trophic level to another. The energy flow, so the energy, they are saying state the form in which energy flow from one trophic level to another. So like I said to say that once the green plant traps solar energy contains from the sun, it converts that solar energy to what? To chemical energy that is passed on from one trophic level to another. So the answer or the form of energy supposed to be chemical energy. C1, that is chemical energy. So we proceed, where they are saying explain what happens to the energy named in C1 as it passes from one trophic level to another. So one thing that you should bear in mind is that as NH keep passing from one trophic to another, 10% of NH is passed on and 90% of NH is lost through the processes of ingestion, respiration, excretion, also what? Locomotion. So we are going to write, so only 10% of NH is passed on from one trophic level to another, and 90% of NH is lost through the processes like excretion, digestion, and locomotion, etc. So there are various processes that occurs that makes NH to be lost from our bodies. So that is the possible answer that was supposed to be at C2. So we move on to the next one. So the third question, or another question, they are saying identify two organisms in figure 4.0 which are both what? Secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. So you have to go back to the diagram you see. So two organisms that are both what? Secondary and tertiary. So you start from here. So this is the producer. So you move producer, that one, that is the primary consumer, secondary consumer, and then when you go that side, that one is the tertiary consumer. So we have one which is the snake. So if you start from here also, grasshopper, which is the primary consumer, that one will be the secondary. So snake as qualified to be one of the organism. Now again we move. So this is the primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. Again we move. This is the primary consumer, that one secondary consumer. So also the organism act as qualified. So the possible answer should be the snake and the ark. So from there we write our answers. So the first one, that is the snake. The second one, that is ark. So those are the possible answers. So we proceed, we move on to the last one, where they are saying using named organism in figure 4.0 construct the longest what? Food chain. Meaning when you are going to draw the food chain, you have to involve those two organisms that we have answered from there on in T1. So you have to go back to the diagram so that we see how we are going to move. So the longest food chain, so we are going to start from grass, move to grasshopper, and then we go there to mice. From there we go to what? Snake. And then from there we should stop from the arc. So from there we have to move, come here, that will be the last organism. So we can write now. So we start from grasshopper, there we move on to mice, snake, and arc. So we write grass, move on to the second one, that is grasshopper. From there we have mice, another one, that is snake. Then the last one should be arc. So it means that we have answered the correct thing. The reason is very simple, because we have included those two organisms that were there. So please, these are the possible answers. Don't forget to like and subscribe, so that whenever I post the new video you are able to see and watch. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.